Hello people, I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at David Madison's The Tower of Darkness, which I have in my Appendix N collection, which I will link for you below. This is the first time I've read or even heard of David Madison. Now unfortunately there isn't a vignette of a page or two here that tells me who he is, what his biography, or comments from the editor about the short story, why he chose it, or that sort of thing. There's also no Wikipedia page on David Madison either, and so it wasn't super easy for me to find information about this this writer of fantasy, in this case, this fantasy short story, The Tower of Darkness. Now, this was published in a collection of stories in the late 70s. This one, I think it was 77, in Swords Against Darkness, volume number 3. Now we have looked at something that was published in the Swords Against Darkness series, and that is mainly Wade Wellman's Cardios of Atlantis. Short story Cardios is the last survivor of Atlantis who's washed up on the shores after Atlantis has fallen. And this is a mainly Wade Wellman creation. And in fact, one of those short stories is also in this collection too. From that collection, Swords Against Darkness, one of the Cardios of Atlantis mainly Wade Wellman collections. Now this a collection, again, I'll link it to you below. The goal of this collection is to give you sort of a central calling place for a lot of the heavy inspirations for Appendix N and Dungeons & Dragons as created by Gary Gygax. In 1979, Gary Gygax published the first Advanced Dungeons & Dragons edition, and he had a Dungeons & Masters guide in it. And in that first Dungeon Masters guide, he has something called Appendix N, various appendices. And the nth appendix is all of the influences of the thing, and also, more importantly, where to go to find inspiration for your gaming as a Dungeon Master. So this is sort of the line that he draws. And he has a lot of people in this, from Lord Dunsany to H.P. Lovecraft to mainly Wade Wellman, FYI. But this person actually isn't in there, and his story was published in 77, which is after Dungeons & Dragons got started. And it seems like there are a few stories in there like it, but again, without the sort of vignette on the short story or why included in this collection. I can't say why this story was included in this 2020 collection, but I will link you to it again below. I'm giving this probably a 7 out of 10. It's well written. It's probably more of a 6.5, 6.6, 6.7, but I'm rounding it up to a 7.10. It's fine. It's well written. It keeps you interested. It's a little bit more than 20 pages. So it took me 39 minutes exactly last night, because I started recording it at 36 minutes after, and I finished it 15 minutes after the hour. So I know that it took me exactly 39 minutes for me to read, which is pretty cool. You can knock out the short story, in less than an hour, less than 45 minutes. It's about 20, like I said, it's a little bit more than 20 pages long in this collection, so it took me roughly a little bit less than 2 minutes a page, which is about average for, my speed on these big giant pages that you often find in things, in a lot of these collections of older things. So I'm not surprised at that speed. I've also been reviewing a lot of things by C.S. Lewis, and you'll notice that I've been knocking those out much faster than because that's much more of a novel size thing, and it's kid stuff too. So you'll notice I'm knocking them out in 3 or 4 hours a day. So I'm knocking them out much more quickly. But anyway, it's fine. Basically, the key plot that's happening in here is that we have a couple of robbers that arrive at a city, and they arrive at the city near nighttime, but not at nighttime. And the city welcomes them in unevenly. The doors open up, and they're welcomed in, and they're told that outsiders are not welcome here, and they have to bribe the guard with 3 silver pieces from Leon to even get in. There is some language problems with our 2 main characters. And our city, they're welcome in, and they are thus, enjoy the city and the city's lack of hospitality and meanness to them, and so forth. And they'll basically start exploring this dark city. And they'll ultimately find out some very dark secrets about this this ancient city that's out there in the middle of nowhere. And that's basically the key parts of this short story. There's not a whole lot of stuff outside of that. It does have a fun ending. There's nothing that David Madison does in this short story that feels new or fresh or interesting. Hence, it's more of a 6+7 or 7-7 than maybe something that would be more of an 8 or 9 or 10. There are the occasional turns of phrase here and there that are nicer. But there's not a whole lot. But again, this is the only short story or story of any sort, novel, poem, play, right, whatever, by Madison. So I'm not sure, if this is, sort of his sort of style of writing, or if this was earlier when he was writing in 77 or later in his career in 77, and that sort of a thing. But that's fine. It's pretty good. And I hope that you enjoy this short story, Tower of Darkness, in 1977, in Swords Against Darkness 3 collection, the same collection that we've already looked at in terms of the Manly Wade Wellman Cardios of Atlantis that was published in these Swords Against Darkness 1, 2, and I think 3, and I think another one too. That we've already looked at for you. And there's also a few of these short stories that are from this collection in this Appendix N as well. So we'll be taking a look possibly at some other things that are in this collection too. And there you are. Have you read Towers of Darkness or anything else by David Madison? If so, what did you think of it? Did you agree or disagree with my, between a 6 and a 7 sort of a take? If so, or if not, I'll be more than happy to engage with it further in the comments below, whatever your view of the short story or of my opinion thereof. If you like this video, why not hit that subscribe button? Because there's going to be a lot more of these to follow in fantasy, like this one, science fiction, and horror. And then finally, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling. I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an awesome day.